Sampurasun. Greetings, family. I hope that this journey has been as adventurous and exciting as it has been for me. I know I'm just giving you snippets, but these are truly some of the most impressive highlights of the journey that I'm able to offer. You know, how do you compress a day into minutes? So many levels of things were taking place, and it was beautiful. Day 2 was absolutely amazing. There were more musicians that came into the space. But before I start with that, I remembered in the evening of day 1, I got a chance to meet some of the traveling dukuns and also martial artists. They were eager to just come in and speak with me, and there was just a few people that spoke English, so we got a chance to share moments. And I remember this one grandmaster of Silat, the Indonesian martial arts system. He invited me to sit with him, and we were sitting outside, and we sat down in meditation seating, and we were sharing, and someone was doing a little bit of translation, but we were just sharing energy. And I remember we started talking about Salat because I saw his symbol, and I asked him, because he didn't present himself as an instructor or a grandmaster or anything. And when I acknowledged him, he said he just did like that, and then I pointed towards his training sword, and he's at a crisp blade, and he looks, and he pulls it out, and he does this movement, and I looked like, oh, in my mind I'm like, oh, I want to learn that. I want to learn that. And he just smiled. He began to give me some training on one of their basic systems of blocking, and we started doing it, and I was like, whoa. And he's like, okay, now like this, like this, like this. And then he did a strike. I said, ooh. And then I felt like how he was locking the arms, and then he looks at me and he says, I want you to train with me. I said, yes, I want to train with you. He said, make some time. We can, he said, I want to show you that knife technique as well. And I was like, we're on the same page. Oh, wow. So yeah, I went to bed with that kind of energy. So here we are in day 2. I'm just enthusiastic about what is going to take place today. More music with some traditional instruments. And then we all had opportunity to flow very swaying motion with the music and dance together. And that was such a harmonious expression. You know, I remember they take the piece of cloth as different colors, and they put it over the person, and that person is chosen. All right, you have to get up, and you also have to join in and flow in the space. And there was this gentle air-like movement, and moving with the song, moving with the rhythm, moving with the heartbeat. And it was fun. It was exciting. And I love how everyone was invited to participate. You know, when you felt like it was time to share with someone else, you gave the cloth to put around their head, and then of course they have to get up and also join in. I loved it. Where are you going? Okay, I am going. Where are you going? Okay, my darling. he's such a high vibe, good vibrations individual, and his songs just uplift the energy. And so that day, I would say it was about upliftment, the children's presence, and just the younger people were just excited to see things and to be a part. And it was also an exchange for them because they're next, right? Their opportunity is right before them. There was one sister who's Dukun. Wow, she was asked to do a demonstration, a martial arts demonstration. I could tell that she is great with weapons. Yeah, I don't think you want to be in front of her receiving those blessings. And at some point, David, you should do a demonstration of your martial arts, your salat, African salat. I was like, and I looked and I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm still trying to capture this moment. And, minutes later, I'm preparing to do a demonstration, and all the phones and all the cameras were out at that moment. And that was another way of being with everyone. When I was complete, the video was somewhere. I'll put the video up there. When I was complete, I saw some people were like, okay, all right. We have some, we family. Wow, it was a great exchange. And then this is what I called, I'm not going to go into depth too much because I put this into the realm of the unexplainable. And someone would say the mystics expressions or the supernatural. Inside the unity space of the Federation, there are some masters of the world of weapons, and they've trained with the blade in such a way, and they have some, and listen, I'm not a professional on this topic or historian, so I'm not able to explain explicitly into detail. I've seen this art or expression in the world, so I know it's possible. I know people like, really? I know what I saw. And some people, it's like circus tricks. I don't know. But I did see someone cut themselves and there was drawing of blood, but I saw no wound later. So they're masters of the blades, of the sharp edge masters, I should call them. And they're able to do things that I think people will kind of maybe look at me like, are you all right? I was like, yes, I'm good. I said I was in the front row seat, and they were using razor blades and knives and cutting their face, and no blood was drawn. And then there was a point where they like, oh, just so you know that this knife is sharp. They actually cut themselves. And I'm like, but afterwards they had some way, that's why I say it's maybe unexplainable, but it's supernatural. They used the essence of water. And I saw them afterwards. We took some photos together. I don't know if I don't even know where those photos are, but I looked at their face. There was no cut on their face. So I'm like, they have a science. I'm gonna leave that right there because it was phenomenal. I do know that they have videos out there a little bit more in depth of some of the experiences that day. I'll drop some links probably in the somewhere in the description if you are interested. So, there was moments where we had to take rest, and usually what happens is we wind up finding ourselves in little micro circles, and we started. I wind up speaking to a small group of young men who were visiting there for the culture, visiting there for the connection. and this is their first time. And there was a young man, actually there's three of them. We were like talking at different points throughout different activities that were taking place. And I remember we got a chance to kind of just sit and be present with no activities going on. And the one young man, he started to ask me about meditation. And he's talking about his habits. And he wanted to stop smoking. And I said, I asked him, I said, well, let me ask you this, because it's a matter of whether you want to or not. Do you really want to stop smoking? And then he paused, and then just like, I said, it's a yes or no. Is it yes or no? He said, yes, I want to stop. So he was like, well, how does meditation help someone? I said, well, first of all, before we go there, let's look at what is causing you or what's actually happening. This is a behavior. So we went down this conversation. I said, so why do you find yourself bored? And the thing is, he just didn't know what to do. He hasn't defined that. He gave it enough reflection. So we took a time to reflect. Inside him practicing the reflection, there was no desire to light a cigarette. And I gave him a breathing technique that allowed him to actually demonstrate within himself the possibility. And when he said, I actually feel calm. Good. I said, you have the power to control the urge. And I want you to remember that. Whether you stop today or not, it's truly up to you. But you just did it right now. So it's just practicing that. And that's how meditation shows up. It's practice. You put it into practice. It's not a one-off and then all of a sudden you have immediate realizations and whatever you're managing has disappeared. It's the continuous buildup. So he was in his zone in that moment, and he saw the benefits. And that actually, I'm grateful to everything, the universe, the connection to all. There was another young man there that conversation opened up something for him. And without getting into a long story, he was able to reduce and diminish an experience that he was having in that moment that's classified as anxiety. And we were able to identify some original or originating causes and the symptoms that showed up inside his body. Because his question was, can meditation eliminate anxiety? Or in his case, he was like, well, I tried it and it didn't work. I said, it won't. And he was like, oh, I thought it would. I said, well, it's not automatic. And I said, and I wanted to affirm him, like, yeah, you did try it, but that's not going to work because there's something you have to do before you get there. And so I took him through that process, and a very short period of time, he said, oh, I asked him, are you having an anxiety attack right now? And he says, no. I said, so what I want you to, I told him, I said, what I want you to think about is that your thoughts are based on past events that are reoccurring with the expectation that the new experience that you're about to have will look exactly like that past experience. And you don't know that this is happening, and you didn't know that this was happening, and this is why you stepped into a new space with worry and concern, and then the trigger starts to become alive, and you're like, why is this happening? And now today you know. And because of that knowledge, you're able to take that tool and go into a meditation and actually practice being with it, not avoiding, but being with it in its most subtle expression and allowing yourself to breathe through it. Not running, not hiding, but just being still and observing. And he was so grateful. And he was like, I can't believe that I only just met you and I'm not going to see you again. I said, well, we have technology, so that doesn't have to be the case. And we affirmed ourselves at that moment to be brothers. And I told him, I said, I will do my best to contribute what I can to you in your journey. You don't have to go through this alone. You know that, right? He said, well, that's how it's been for me. I've always been alone. I said, well, not right now. And he's just smiled. He was like, yeah, you're right. I said, it doesn't have to be that way. It's just having the right people to connect with. And so let's say today we made the connection and we can keep cultivating this. And so we make sure that we, in that moment, affirm that, yeah, we will move forward as brothers. And any moment he needs my assistance, I'm there for him. And he greatly appreciates that. And he has a big mission, and it's good for him to have the support that he needs to be successful. And I do see that success with him in his life, and he's going to contribute to a lot of people, create opportunities for people to heal. And day 2 really was the platform for all that to show up. So I just want to take a moment to say hatur nuhun to my family there in Indonesia of the IDN, Ikatan Dukun Nusantara, hatur nuhun, because these people are serious about what they do, and they are active and present to demonstrating healing in action. I think I did a good job of summating day 2. Obviously, there were other nuances of things. I'll do my best to include videos to give you a snapshot. But most of all, I just want to thank you, hatur nuhun, for just being present to this journey and being a supporter and listening and receiving, and whatever is here for you, I trust you receive it as a gift. There's a huge opportunity that is emerging from this connection, and as it solidifies, I will be presenting it to every one of you, and we will get a chance to see for ourselves. Hint, hint. So, remember, this is a time for us to shine no matter what we see is going on. People need the light because people are suffering, and they need the light. They need to feel that hope and that transmission. So remember to transmit at the highest frequency possible.